Hello everybody, this is Karen and I am here at my studio at the Ponderosa for Sew and Save and our Sew What block of the month. We are on our second block for the year 2025. This year we're working on the Blue Skies project and we already did one set of blocks. This time we're going to do the next set, which is part 2, block B. Now I know y'all have your special instructions that I gave you because this year we're again using our Ultimate Flying Geese ruler as well as the Quilt in a Day half square triangle ruler. So this is our block. This is called part 2, block B. And let's go over the block and I'll show you what you need to do this block. So the first part of the block that you're going to do is the center. And if you look at my block is looking different than yours because I put the wrong piece of fabric in one part. So right up here in this little corner, right here in this corner, it's supposed to be this little light color which matches here. So whatever you put here, you're supposed to put here. Well, I made a mistake and I put this in instead. So I have a little bit of a design change on mine. So in class, you will see what the original block looked like, and you can see what the original block looks like in your pattern. But by making this little corner the same as all of these little flying geese, it kind of puts a square in the corner, which is kind of cool too. So you can think about which variation you like and make yours that way as well. So instead of making half square triangles out of, it is color, the light, and I think it's medium 1. I just used, I think it's dark 2 or dark 1, one of these, whatever I used to make those half square triangles. So just a little variation from the pattern makes the block look a whole lot different. But that being said, let's go over what you need and what you're going to be making. I made a lot of flying geese this time, but we're using our Ultimate Flying Geese ruler, so it goes really super fast. So let's take a look at what you're going to do. So in the center, you have a square in the square. So you're going to use, and you're going to be making 2 blocks. So you're going to be needing 2 center squares, which is your medium 2, which is G. So you're going to need 2 of those because you're making 2 blocks. Then you're going to need medium 1, and you're going to need 8 of these, and this will be letter F. You're going to be needing 8 because you're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 on one block and 4 on another for 8. So you're going to need 8 of these little guys to go with that. Then you're going to make some flying geese. So you're going to make 1 set of flying geese using, and I didn't grab that fabric, but that is okay, using the, let me look, using the dark 1 and your light fabric. So you're going to have a big square of this fabric, which is dark 1, and your light background fabric to make this set of flying geese. Then you're going to make 2 sets of flying geese for the outside. So for that, you're going to make 2, 4 flying geese where it's the light on the inside and the dark on the outside. So you're going to be using your light and your medium, let's see, medium dark 2. You're going to be using to make these. Then you're going to be using your dark 2 in the center with your light to make flying geese over here. So you're going to have a set of 3 flying geese going one way and 2 going the other way using these. So in the end, you're going to make 12 of this combination and 8 with this combination. Alrighty. Then in this corner, you're going to use your medium 1 and your light to make half square triangles. So you're going to make actually 8 half square triangles when you're all done, because you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 on one block and 1, 2, 3, 4 on another block. So bunch of flying geese, square and a square, and a few half square triangles will get you through this block this month. So get all your pieces and start cutting and start sewing. I'm going to go through step by step how to do these, and I'll tell you exactly where to line up your laser light so that you know where to line that up and how to stitch everything together. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Sew and save. See you soon. You are ready to do your flying geese for black bees. So you're going to do this little section here, but we're going to use our ultimate flying geese ruler. So we're going to make all 4 of these at the same time. So you're going to start out with your large dark 1 H square, and you're going to put your background. My background's really hard to see because it's a kind of a tone on tone, so I just want to make sure I don't have them upside down. Those 2 squares, your background squares, on opposing corners. Now, generally speaking, I would have to draw a line here. I'm going to use my laser light. My laser is going to point all the way down this diagonal. I'm going to stitch on either side of the laser light, trim on the line in between, and then press my seams going up. And so I'm going to go do that, come back and show you what that looks like. Alrighty, step 1 is all done. So I have those trimmed and pressed so that the seam goes up toward the little background points. Now we're simply going to add our third and fourth square. Actually, that one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. I'm going to, my laser light is going to go from this point to this point, and this point to this point, and I'll sew on either side of the laser light about 1/4 inch. And then again, we're going to, see, ta-da, press it going this direction and use our ultimate flying geese ruler to square everything up. I have my little flying geese, all 4 of them nicely pressed, and they're all kind of kitty-wampus, but in a minute, they're going to be beautiful. So we're going to lay them out in front of us so they look like little mountains in front of us. We're going to use the letter D on our trim 1 end of our ultimate flying geese ruler. Line up the little D mountain with your seam line on your little guide, just like that. I'm going to trim the right side and the top. Then I'm going to pick it up, set it back down on the next one, line it up, trim off. See how crooked all that was? I don't know. This one looks a little off. I think I was a little crooked when I don't think that one's going to work. I think I'm going to have a sad one this time. I might have to have a do-over on that, but we'll see. I know I stitched a little crooked for some reason, not quite sure why, but I did. So that one looks perfect. That one looks like it'll probably be okay. This one looks like I think it's going to be okay. We're going to find out in a minute when we flip them around, won't we? Sometimes even the things don't always go perfect, but it might be perfect. It might be good enough, but we'll see. So now I'm going to turn them so they look like a V in front of me. I'm going to turn my ruler to trim 2. Again, I'm going to close this up before I cut my hand. Again, I'm going to follow the D and the 2x4. So this little L-shaped line that says 2x4 is going to go right along the left side and the bottom, because those are the 2 sides that we've already cut. And then we're going to trim up here and over. So we're going to lay this right down. This is 2x4 here. There's my D. That's a little V there, and look at how perfect that is. We'll see what the next one, that's the one I'm a little worried about, but we'll see what happens when we lay it down. if it's pretty close. No, you know what? My eyeballs were just deceiving me. I thought that this was going to be too wide and that I wouldn't get that little white right to that point, but it's perfect. Sometimes your eyes deceive you a little bit because they're all, look at how kittywampus this is. Looks terrible until I lay this down again and trim it up just right. And now look how perfect they are. They look terrible until you do this, right? But that is okay. That's the way it goes. Ta-da! Oh, these are beautiful and perfect. We're going to do these. Then we're going to set the ruler aside, set these guys aside, and next we're going to do our center, and that is going to be a square and a square. So I'm going to take my center square, which is F. F is medium 1. So this is my F medium 1. The next thing we're going to do is our center kind of square and a square. So we're going to have G, which is our medium 2, and F, which is medium 1. Here again, I'm going to lay 2 squares diagonally on this block. Oops, flip that upside down, right sides together. I'm going to shine my laser light from this corner to this corner, stitch right on the laser line. The same over here. Point my laser line from this corner to this corner and stitch right on the laser line. So I have my first two squares stitched and pressed. I press these open so these are nice and flat. Always give it a little shot of best press, and look at how nice and flat that all is. Now I'm going to do the same thing again with the other corners. Right sides together. I'm going to lay this over here and this one over here. On the other corner, laser light from point to point, point to point, stitch on the laser line. All right, so I have my center square and a square done. I made 1, but you're going to be making 2. Just like you made the flying geese, I made 4. You're going to make 8 because you're doing 2 blocks. I already have 1 block already done. So I'm going to set this aside. Now we're going to make half square triangles. So you're going to take a C background with a, what is it down here? An E, and E is a medium 1. You're going to lay those together on top of one another. Point your laser light from corner to corner and stitch on either side of the laser light, so that if you're going to end up making 8 altogether, I'm just going to make 4. All right. Now I've sewn those using my laser light. Now it's time to cut them apart here and here from diagonal point to diagonal point. Then I lay them out in front of me like they're a little mountain. I'm going to take my squaring up ruler and I'm going to set it at 2.5. I'm going to line up the 2.5 inch line right along my seam line. Trim each one of these down to 2.5, and I will be ready to press them open. These I'm probably, I think I'm going to press those open, but you can press them toward the dark side too. Whatever puts you in your happy place. 2.5 inches here. I'm going to go press them, and then we're going to put the center of our block together. I have all my parts and I'm ready to sew the center of my block together. So I've turned my page over and I'm looking up at the top where it says Block B Assembly, and I'm going to lay out my block on my design board so that I can take it right over to my sewing machine and stitch it together. So get everything laid out correctly, this, and then the blue my dark parts of my half square triangles are going to the outside, just like this. So I'm going to sew these all across, all 3 rows, and then sew them together. So they're having you press away from the center here and in toward the center on the top and bottom. And then I think, I don't know what I would do. Maybe press this edge open, but sometimes I just wait and see what the block tells me it wants me to do. So I'm going to stitch them together, press, and we'll come back and work on the outside. Here is the center of my block all done and ready to go. Now we're going to add the outside, going around it. Everything kind of went together. These little corners are the trickiest ones. So I sewed from here to here on each corner and then took a look at them. If I had to readjust them, I ripped it that little bit out, readjusted it. So out of the 4, I did have to readjust 1. So that wasn't too bad. So, and I did end up pressing all of my seams flat on this one, or open. It just seemed to be the best way to do it. So I'm going to set this aside, and then, holy moly, we're going to make more flying geese. So we're going to make all the rest of the flying geese all together. So you will have 3 of these. They are, let me look back, dark 2, and they are squares, and you'll have 3 of those because you're going to make 12 flying geese, and you will get 4 out of each, so you need 3. And then on the corners of each one of these, you're going to have your light B, or your background B squares. So you'll have 3 of these. I have 1. That's all I have left to do. I have a couple left that I did for my first block. So you're going to have 3 of these. You're going to set those up. I'm going to set those aside for later. Then you're going to have 2 background blocks, and on that you're going to add 2, let me see, dark 2. So you have dark 2 here and dark 2 over here, and you're going to put those on. You're going to line up your laser light diagonally from corner to corner and stitch on either side of your laser line. We're going to do that, trim them, press them, come back and put the next set on. Right, I have my halfway done flying geese laying out in front of me. You're going to have a lot more because you're making more than I am at this point. And now you're going to lay your other squares down into the other corners, just like so. Line up your laser line from this point to this point. So on either side of those points, press them and come back, and we will trim them down so they all look just beautiful like these 2 do. I have all of these sewn and pressed, and now we're ready to trim them up and make them beautiful. You're going to, again, have a lot more of these. You're going to have, I believe, 12 of these and 8 of these, if I'm not mistaken. So you've got a lot of trimming to do. So you're going to look at trim 1. Again, we're going to look at the D. Line the D up, the dashed D line right on your seam line. Trim up the right side, over the top. Oops, pick it up, set it back down, right on the D. Over and over again till you get them all trimmed. It's going to take a minute, especially for you guys. A little bit less for me, but especially for you guys because I did it once already. There we go. That. Coming over here. Let's get this one. Over here. I just love it that they come out so nice. And when you have to make a lot of them, like you are right now, it really does go a lot faster. And that's why I kind of do them all at the same time, these 2 sets, so that you're ready to put everything together once you're done trimming. So this one's a little kitty wampus. That'll be okay. It's going to go this way and then like this. And I think I have one more to do like this, and then we're going to turn them all over, flip our ruler, and trim them the rest of the way. Generally speaking, if I'm just kind of sewing on my own and not demoing for you guys, I would probably do all of the flying geese all at once and then put everything together. But we were following the directions and following along so that you knew exactly what you were doing and who goes where and what goes what and what is what, so that you're all set. All right, so now I have these turned up kind of upside down, so I have them all looking like a V in front of me. Again, I'm going to line up the D and the 2 by 4 on the ruler and then trim these up. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Once we do that, then we're going to grab our design board that has our already finished block, center block on it, and we're going to get this all lined up so we can sew it all back together. It's gonna look great. And again, you're gonna have twice as many of all of these things that I do, because you're gonna do 2 and I'm just making 1 right now. So yeah, so you'll be cutting longer than I am, I can tell you that. And sewing a little bit longer. But that is okay. Yeah, this year we ramped it up a little bit and you're doing 2 of each block. You can do it. You're doing great. Doing great. Nope, didn't cut that one yet. All righty. I know you're fast forwarding through all this. That is okay. Because you know what you're doing now. And I have just 1 more. Yay! Okay. I'm going to stack up all the white ones here and then kind of the blue ones over here. And I got a couple white ones left over from there. And now we're going to put our black together. Going to grab my paper so we can make it look just like the picture. So up on top, we're going to have 1, 2, 3 with the blue in the middle. Do the same on the bottom. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to sew these 3 and these 3 together first. Then on this side, we're going to have 2, and we're going to put them, flip them this way. There we go. We're going to go like that. See how it makes this little corner here? It's going to make a little kind of a square in the corner. I think I used the wrong fabrics in this corner on this one. I don't think I did it that way on the other one. Ah, I did. I have more of these squares. Okay. You know what? My black is going to look a little bit different on this one than yours did. That's why I had these 2 extra blocks. I was like, why do I have these 2 extra blocks? Now I know. Okay. So this block's going to look a little bit different than the other block. I hope I'm going to be okay with that, but we'll figure it out. I'm going to sew it all together, and then we're going to see what happens. Okay. It's going to be a little bit different than yours, but that'll be okay. Let's flip it over and see what it looks like. Okay. Well, you might end up liking this one better anyways. Well, we're going to see. So I'm going to sew these 3 together here, these 3 together here. Sew these 2 and these 2, and then add these to this and the top and bottom coming up. And we'll see you back here in a minute. Let's see what this block looks like. So here is my version of the finished block. In your version, if you do it the way the book says and not the way I did it, this color will be repeated up into these 4 corners up here. But it's kind of cool how as you sewed this together, this became a square in the corner, kind of mimicking the square that you have in the center. So kind of another cool block, just a different way of doing it. So you can kind of look at it, see how you like it, and you can do yours either way. Doesn't matter. So this is our SewWhat block month 2, part 2, block B. And you can join us every month, the 3rd Monday of the month. And next month, we'll be doing another block. So I hope to see you then. Bye.